Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Good evening. And this your girl Tiffany here live in effect. So I come to you tonight because we have to have this conversation. We really need to talk. And this is a very important subject matter. So it's been a lot that's been taking place recently in the news. So if you guys been keeping up, Ananda Lewis, who was the former host of BT Teen Summit, and she also hosted MTV. She passed away today on June 11th, 2025, at the age of 52, after being diagnosed with breast cancer. Now, some years back, she spoke about it. It was about 5 years ago when she first revealed that she had cancer. She was at stage 3. But I'm going to be honest, this is where she made a terrible mistake. She did not follow up through radiation or chemotherapy. She skipped out and decided to go the natural route, try to do the holistic medicine, things like that. And she was being misled. So I don't know who encouraged her to do it. But when it comes to a disease like cancer, that's when you have to be very cautious. You have to follow through with doctor's appointment. At this point, you cannot go to a herbalist or anybody that's into natural medicine or natural herbs or whatever. You can't go to those individuals for guidance. If you have a disease like cancer, it's a must that you follow through with your doctor's appointment. That's when you have to make a choice whether you want to get chemotherapy or radiation. Again, if you want chemotherapy or radiation, you have no choice, because a disease like cancer spreads throughout your body. It don't just sit at one part of your body. It can go from your breast to your lungs, from your lungs to your brain. And once it hits your lungs and your brain, it's nothing that could be done. It's too late. So, and I felt that this was so important to talk about statistics, because breast cancer runs very rapidly in our community. So, as Black women, especially, we must take the necessary step to go to doctor's appointment. And I know it's not a very exciting thing to do. It's nothing precious about going to get a mammogram. I'm telling you that right now. But it's better safe than being sorry. And a lot of us are scared to do so because we don't want to hear the results, the bad news, because there's a lot of things you have to worry about. And I'm going to tell you this, I had the privilege to go and get my mammogram back in 2023. And everything turned out to be fine. I was grateful for that. And now I'm only 35 years old. At that time, I was 33. The reason why I had to do that, or it was highly recommended, because my mother had breast cancer and she was a breast cancer survivor. Now she's no longer here. She made her transition back in 2017? Yeah, she transitioned in 2017. And it wasn't from cancer. It was other health issues going on with her. However, she had found out she was diagnosed back in 2001 at the age of 41 years old. She was 41 when she was diagnosed with breast cancer. And at that time, she was worried if she was going to live or if she was going to die. And it was a good thing they caught it sooner. She went through her radiation. She went through chemotherapy. And I'm going to tell y'all something about that chemo. Chemo is nothing to play around with. Chemo is nothing to play around with. You go through all kinds of issues dealing with chemo. All kinds of issues. You end up, your skin be dry. You'll lose your hair follicles. You end up sick, not losing appetites. Your mouth stay dry. You'll be tired and fatigued. That was the stuff that my mother had to deal with when she went through chemo. And it took a while. Like chemo can last like 7 months. And after she done completed everything, she had to go through radiation. And the radiation wasn't as bad, but it was a lot. And then she, not only that, after she completed radiation, she ended up with hot flashes. See, didn't know you could catch hot flashes from having chemo. Yeah, she started experiencing hot flashes really bad, and plus she was going through menopauses. But yeah, but that hot flashes start coming in. So it's not a process that is fun or it's easy to deal with, because like I said, I had to watch my mother go through it, and it was rough just looking at her dealing with the situation as a 12-year-old. So when I heard about what happened to Ananda Lewis, it made me think about my mother and all the other women that I knew that had cancer. And I wish that she would have went down a better route. Now, for those who may not know what Teen Summit was, for those that, if you wasn't around that time period, or if you weren't born then. So Teen Summit was a show that was focusing on teen pregnancy, things that teenagers go through, like peer pressure, pregnancy, violence, gang violence, whatever subject you can think of that teenagers deal with, bullying. That's what the show was about. And it was a very educational show. It was like a safe space where a lot of teenagers can come on the show and talk about their issues, talk about the things they have encountered, right? It was something that grabbed people's attention. And I hate that they took it off the air, because when I tell you the show was very educational, it was very educational. You know what I'm saying? And it created a safety net for teenagers to get on there and talk and have a conversation. And I think she played a big part in it. She really did. She played a major role in it. I mean, just to see her on TV, graceful, very passionate. She played that role. And she'll be forever recognized for that. And of course, she also played her part with the MTV music videos back then. If y'all know about the countdowns and all of that. But let's go ahead and let's get into the article, all right, that deals with the statistics about Black women and breast cancer. So let me go ahead and pull it up, and hopefully you guys can see my screen. Wait a minute. Let me get this screen up real quick. All right then. So this is coming from, I'm trying to see the name of the website. I'm trying to pull it up. This comes from the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. Again, this comes from the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. And it says Black women and breast cancer, while disparities persist, and how to end them. All right. And this is by Priyala Mahatra, PhD, and scientifically reviewed by Doraya L. Ashry, PhD. Okay. So it came out this year. It says more progress needs to be made to improve outcomes for Black women with breast cancer. Here's how BCRF investigators are addressing the challenge. In the United States, breast cancer continues to be the most common cancer and the leading cause of cancer death in women. In 2025, more than 319,750 new cases of invasive breast cancer and 59,080 new cases of ductal carcinoma in situ, which is also known as stage 0 breast cancer, will be diagnosed in women in the United States, while there has been an overall 44% decline in breast cancer deaths since 1989, thanks to gains in awareness, earlier diagnosis, and more effective treatments. There is a persistent mortality gap between Black women and white women. Now, it goes on to say that data compiled by the American Cancer Society highlight the need to close this devastating gap. While breast cancer incidence rates among Black and white women are similar, mortality rates are markedly different, with Black women having a roughly 40% higher death rate from breast cancer. Among women under 50, the disparity is even greater. While young women have a greater incidence of aggressive cancers, young Black women have double the mortality rate of young white women. And let's pause on that. Let's pause. Let's think about that for a moment. Okay. Let's think about that for a moment. Just imagine, as a Black woman, just hearing those statistics, the fact that you have a greater chance of having breast cancer. I mean, just wrap your mind around that. So our rate of cancer is higher than any other racial group. It's higher than white women. And you talking about under the age of 50. There's countless stories of women who's at my age dying from breast cancer. I'm a millennial. I'm 35 years old. So just imagine that. And people may wonder, well, how does cancer exist in your body? What caused the cancer to come in? And it's not always what you're eating or you're not taking care of your health and things like that. So let's look into what causes the cancer. Like, how does cancer operate? Cancer cells work. Let's look into that. All right, so let's talk about it. Because I don't think people really understand how cancer cells actually work. People think, well, you eating unhealthy or it's due to lack of exercise and things like that. Well, you have people who can eat healthy all day. You have people that go to the gym faithfully and they still have a chance of having cancer. Now, let's go into it. So, since people like using AI, okay, because it's the popular thing to do, it's a popular generator out there. Let's go to AI and let's see what it has to say. So it says cancer cells develop from normal cells when their DNA is damaged or altered, leading to uncontrolled cell growth and division. This damage can be caused by factors including genetics, environmental exposure, and lifestyle choices. The process of carcinogenesis involves multiple genetic mutations accumulating over time, eventually disrupting normal cell function. So that means if there is some type of damage going on within your cells, right, and it's uncontrollable, then cancer is going to spread. If your cells been altered, cancer is going to spread. So now what it is like your body has become vulnerable to that damaged cell that's taking place because it's either altered, damaged, or it's uncontrollable. So it's making it hard to create a pathway for new cancer cells to come through. Again, it's making it hard to create a pathway for new cancer cells to come through. So that means that there's a blockage. So that old cell, that damaged cell, altered cells, right, in your body is blocking the new cells from form for from formatting, or from developing. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. So when it creates that blockage, your new cells is not going to develop. And it's not something that you're doing personally, it's something that your body is doing. And because it can be due to exposure, right? It could be genetics. Yes, cancer is genetics. It can run in your family. It can have something to do with your lifestyle. But more than likely, in common cases, cancer is genetics or environmental exposure. And by us African Americans, Black people, we are exposed to an environment, right, that is often polluted and contaminated. So if you look at the condition of our neighborhoods, right, we're in the areas more than likely where there's going to be pollution taking place. And yes, of course, you got people that, don't care about their environment, they things like that. But then also you got areas that's bringing about pollution. Like, let's say you got warehouses and all the stuff that's in the air, all the chemicals and all different types of things that's taking place. You know what I'm saying? We inhale that stuff and it's pretty much causing damage to our bodies. or let's say if we live in an area where there's a disposable or landfill, right? Where people, where where the sanitation folks come and pick up your trash and they dump all the trash over there in that area, right? If you live in a landfill or live close by, you're more than likely going to be exposed to whatever is coming out of that area. And that can bring about major illness to your body. But yeah, that's how cancer take place. So again, I'll show it to you guys. As you can see right here where it's highlighted. Cancer cells develop from normal cells when their DNA is damaged or altered, leading to uncontrolled cell growth and division. Okay? But let's get back to the other article. So I posted the links inside the description box. So if you guys want to look at this link, you can just go into the description box and you'll see it there. But let's go ahead and let's go back into the subject matter. All right. It says the data compiled by the American Cancer Society highlight the need to close this devastating gap. Okay, I already read that part. Let me go ahead and go down. Advances in early detection and treatment have dramatically reduced breast cancer ability to take lives overall, but it's clear that these breakthroughs haven't benefit all groups equally, and this disparity has remained unchanged for more than a decade. Now it gets to the part that says what accounts for breast cancer disparities among Black women. The gap in breast cancer incidence and outcome among Black women is complex and multifactorial. Social, economic, geographic, and lifestyle factors may partially account for disparities. Black women are statistically more likely to have diabetes, heart disease, and obesity, and are less likely to breastfeed after childbirth, all of which are risk factors for breast cancer. They are more than likely they are more likely than white women to have inadequate health insurance or access to health care facility, which may affect screening, follow-up care, and completion of therapy. Right. Through continued research, it's clear that biology also plays a role. Black women are disproportionately affected by more aggressive subtypes, such as triple negative breast cancer and inflammatory breast cancer, and they are more likely to be diagnosed at younger ages and at more advanced stages of the disease. Huh. All right, so let's go down. It says a 2017 study looking at women between the ages 18 to 64 who were diagnosed with early stage breast cancer found that four key factors accounted for 76.3% of the total access mortality risk in Black patients. 37% of Black women's access mortality risk could be explained by a lack of private health insurance. Tumor characteristics explain 23.2%. All right. Comorbidities. If I'm saying it wrong, I'm sorry. Anyways, 11.3% and treatment differences when it started or stopped what was given, 4.8%. Mm. I mean, just imagine between the ages 18 to 64. Now you're looking at the numbers right here, all the way down to 18. That's very young to even find out that you at the early stage of breast cancer. All right, and then it goes on to talk about the research on breast cancer in Black women, according to the National Cancer Institute. Disparities in cancer care can be improved in several ways. These include creating statewide cancer screening programs that are accessible to underserved populations and by addressing the biological differences in breast cancer across racial and ethnic groups. A 2019 study that analyzed characteristics of breast cancer patients on a city level showed that women with more resources, such as education and income, may be better equipped to take advantage of healthcare advances. Indeed, cities that have confronted this problem by increasing access to state of the art mammogram facilities made significant progress in narrowing the breast cancer mortality gap between Black and white women. Mm, mm. And BCRF investigated that among patients okay. Okay, I don't know what happened. I just realized that I was kicked off. Okay. Let me go back. Let me go back to that information. Let me see where I was at before I got kicked off of here. Okay. Um all right, so I was reading where it talks about in December of 2024 at the San Antonio Breast Cancer Symposium, researcher from BCRF Health Equity Initiative, a groundbreaking study made possible by the Estee Lauder Company's charitable foundation, reported the first findings from the largest study to date on how social determinants of health impact breast cancer outcomes in Black women based on an analysis of 5,000 women. The authors found that Black women who didn't get mammograms on a regular basis were 3 times more likely to be diagnosed with later stage 3 or 4 breast cancer versus stage 1. Black women living below the federal poverty line were almost twice as likely to be diagnosed with later stage of 3 or 4 breast cancer versus stage 1. And these findings drove home the need for interventions that could improve Black women's outcome, including those that increase mammogram access and address economic and insurance barriers to care. And says the biology of breast cancer is inherently complex, which is why we often hear the phrase every woman's breast cancer is unique. Every woman's breast cancer is unique. While we have made significant progress in understanding the molecular drivers of breast cancer, most studies and clinical trials are conducted in white women. Expanding Black women's participation in research is critical. We have only recently been able to decipher some of the underlying biology to explain the higher incidence of aggressive tumors in Black women and to identify biomarkers that could ultimately inform personalized therapies and improve outcomes for Black women diagnosed with breast cancer. And I'm just going to leave it right there. Now, this statement right here, every woman's breast cancer is unique. Every breast, wait a minute. Every woman's breast cancer is unique. Every woman's breast cancer is unique. Now, just hearing that statement alone makes a person ask, what is so unique about having breast cancer? I mean, just hearing that statement right there, every woman's breast cancer is unique. What is so unique about having breast cancer? I mean, the statement is an oxymoron, if you ask me. It's an oxymoron because you got cancer and unique. So what makes breast cancer, excuse me, what makes the breast cancer so unique? Because last time I checked, cancer is deadly. Now, if they saying it in a clever way as where some people can overcome their cancer better than others, then maybe I get it. I understand the whole concept of that statement. But to say that every woman's breast cancer is unique, let me see. Donnie put San Antonio, Texas leads the world in this field, cancer technology. And it's pretty much needed. You know, and this is one of the reasons why I advocate STEM the way I do, because we need to see more and more of our people getting involved in studies like this. You know, things that really have a major impact in our community. We need more and more of our people getting involved in cancer research. As a matter of fact, there's a young lady, and I'm going to pull her up real quick. I think her name is, let me pull her name up, is let me read some information on her. And I want to give a special shout out to the sister because I think she's doing a great job. And she done made it on LA Times, New York Times. She was on Ricky Smiley's show. She was on Roland Martin's show. So I just want to show you guys. Get this over here. All right, if you guys can see the screen, there we go. So shout out to this sister right here. Now, this sister name is Dr. Hadia Nicole Green. All right, she's a medical physicist. And it says, according to LA Times, physicist Dr. Physicist Dr. Hadia Nicole Green uses nonprofit to raise funds for cancer killing technology. All right. And it says she has developed a novel cancer killing technology, laser activated nanotherapy, that is of high clinical relevance in the field of oncology. All right. So it says in 2003, Dr. Hadia Nicole Green graduated with a BS, Bachelor of Science in Physics from Alabama A&M University with a plan to revolutionize the way consumers receive cable TV and internet. She had diligently prepared herself for her future career in fiber optics and optical communication, and she was excited to finally be on her way. The day after graduation, Dr. Green's aunt, who had raised her along with her two older brothers, disclosed that she had cancer. She told us she had woman's cancer, which usually means cervical or ovarian cancer, and she was only given 3 months to live. Dr. Green recalled. She also said she'd rather die than experience the side effects of chemo or radiation treatments. As Dr. Green nursed her aunt through the ravages of the disease, she remembers thinking, we have a satellites in outer space that can tell whether a dime on the ground is face up or face down, but we can't treat a tumor just at the site of the tumor. That doesn't make sense. All right. Then she goes on to say that 3 months after her aunt died, Dr. Green's uncle, her late aunt's husband, was diagnosed with esophageal cancer and given up to 6 months to live. Dr. Green was the primary caregiver for her uncle while he received the conventional treatments of radiation chemo. Although with treatment, Dr. Green's health and God's grace, her uncle lived 10 years past his original prognosis. Dr. Green saw his body bear the burnt of the treatment's brutal side effects. And, it goes in detail. She said, I watched him wither down to nothing after losing 150 pounds. He lost all his hair on his head, his eyebrows, and his eyelashes, and his skin looked like it had been barbecued. Seeing her aunt and uncle suffer at the hands of cancer and cancer treatments inspired Dr. Green to dedicate her life to develop innovative and more humane ways to attack and destroy cancer. In 2005, she enrolled in physics PhD program at the University of Alabama in Birmingham to develop this inspired cancer treatment using laser and nanotechnology. All right. And so it pretty much it goes into detail about this. It says a cure without suffering. Cancer has impacted most of us. While cancer that is detected early while cancer that is detected early has a high cure rate, nearly 10 million people still die from cancer each year worldwide. Even with the best care, any of us, our family, friends, or colleagues can be subjected to ineffective treatments, harsh side effects, lengthy treatment duration, prohibitive costs, and limited accessibility. Now there's a better way. Uh, Dr. Green developed a novel cancer killing technology, laser activated nanotherapy. Laser activated nanotherapy that is of high clinical relevance in the field of oncology. It's called LANT, the acronym, directly addresses the urgent yet unmet global need for a more effective treatment option for millions of people with difficult to treat cancer. Right. So it goes on to say that she founded the Oral Lee Smith Cancer Research Foundation, a cancer nonprofit, to keep the technology she developed affordable for all. The Oral Lee Smith Cancer Research Foundation is on a mission to change the way cancer is treated and reduce cancer patient suffering by providing a treatment that is accessible, affordable, and effective. All right. Okay, so then let me see if I can highlight this. All right, here we go. So down here it says the future of cancer research. Dr. Green acknowledges that none of us are islands. We all stand on the shoulders of those who came before us. As such, she pays it forward by creating opportunities in her research laboratory and nonprofit for women and students in STEM to grow their research and personal skills. She also advises her mentees and trainees on educational, career, and life strategies. All right, so this is a prime example of someone who's involved in STEM. That's what it means. When you have a personal experience, right? Whether it be with yourself or your loved one, that's going to inspire you to do something and bring about changes. Bring about changes within the community, the demographic that you come from, but just society in general. Now, will she receive all the credit that she deserves? I hate to say this, more than likely not, because the type of society that we've been living for the past 400 years. So they're not going to give her all the credit, of course. There's going to be somebody out there that's going to try to claim something that she created. But just to know that she was able to put it to the forefront and let people know, hey, I want to focus on this. And I came up with something that could help reduce the amount, to help reduce cancer to where people can have a better life, look forward to longevity. It just shows that the work and effort that is being put into this. So that's what it means to really get involved in the STEM. And if you guys want to look up more information, her name is Dr. Hadia Nicole Green. Dr. Hadia Nicole Green. That's her name. Look her up. All right. And it's time that we give more credit to those in our community who's very active and involved in scientific programs. Because oftentimes we talking about, well, we need our people do this, our people do that. We need to see more black representation, etc. But there is black representation there. However, people are not getting the credit for it. They're not on the mainstream. But there is black representation. And I'm speaking to those who claim to be scientifically literate, who claim to be in a scientific community, right? Give credit. Look up the black people that are actually doing it. And I'm not trying to make it a race thing, but we're going to talk about cultural representation, right? And representation for our people. then why not do the research on find out who these people are and giving them the credit for the work they're doing? But I digress. Anyways, in all conclusion, in all conclusion, it's very important that we take pride into our health and we make sure that we stay on top of things, stay updated and informed, and make sure we go to the library, read up on information that we need to read up on various subjects regarding to like various type of disease and type of bacterias, etc. Stay in touch with our doctors if we can, but we got to stay informed because you're not getting any younger. Your body is not going to reverse back to how you was 20 years ago or 10 years ago. It's not going to do that. So as you get older, your body slowly declines. Again, as you get older, your body slowly declines. And there's going to be a lot of changes taking place. And let me see what. And yes, sir, you're right, Mr. Dunny. Also get the blood work every 6 months to a year. Exactly. That's important. Get your physical. Get that physical. Stay updated as much as possible. Take care of yourself as much as you can. You might feel like you're healthy, but feeling and being is different. Again, feeling and being is different. Your body can play tricks on you. Your body can make you feel like you are in shape and you are healthy. There's nothing wrong with you, right? Because you don't feel any form of symptoms. You don't feel any changes going on. You don't feel no type of effect. But later down the road, you all of a sudden feel something is creeping up on you. Something hijacking your system and you can't even get it out your system. You don't know what it is. That's an indication that it was there all along, but it went undetected. It's an indication that it was there all along, but it went undetected. Yeah. So we got to get out of this atrophobia and prioritize our health. For those who never heard the word atrophobia, yes, it's an actual word. Let's pull it up. Atrophobia. Yes, it's an actual word. Atrophobia. Okay. Atrophobia is a specific excuse me. Atrophobia is a specific phobia characterized by intense and irrational fear of doctors, medical professional, or medical care system. It can manifest as avoidance of medical appointments, anxiety during doctor visits, and a general distrust of health care. All right. An extreme fear of doctors or medical tests. Yes, that's an actual term. And a lot of us have suffered from that. And there's a reason why we go through that, because of history dealing with the medical healthcare system in this country. But we have to get past that fear and make it our priority. If we want to know where we stand, you got to make it your priority. And I always want to make sure that I recommend a book. And I've recommended this book 1,000 times, but there's a reason why I'm doing this. So hold it right there. Well, it's actually 3 books, okay, that I'm going to recommend tonight. Hood Health Handbook, Volume 1. Let me see, does it talk anything about cancer? Yes, it does. Hmm. But this book goes into a lot of information, details. If you want to start somewhere, start reading this book. I strongly recommend it. And then there's a volume 2, the Hood Health Handbook, volume 2. Okay. Exercise, weight loss, mental health, survival, and first aid, etc. Yeah. So get this book if you can. It's worth it, in my opinion. Black Health Matters, Richard W. Walker Jr. Put this book on your bucket list. This is an actual doctor, a MD. That means medical doctor, okay? Not some pseudo doctor, not somebody who pretending, someone who's actually a medical doctor, who actually done the work, had patients, right? He goes in talking about stroke, cancers, diabetes, kidney failures, all of the above. So if you don't have this book, please get this book. I recommend you guys. It's called Black Health Matters. You see the title. The title itself is self-explanatory. The title itself is self-explanatory. Get it. I'm going to keep recommending this book until I can't recommend it anymore. I'm going to keep on recommending this book. All right. Now, I hope you guys have a wonderful evening and be safe. Until next time, peace and power elevation be to all of you. This your girl Tiffany, and I'm out. All right, and thanks to the chat. Shout out to Brother Dunny. And shout out to those of you that came in watching. I appreciate it. And we'll stay connected.